renewable energy policy and why we want to shift our energy production
Yeah,
towards.
but renewable energy. Okay, like electric. Um,
Okay, what renewable energy do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm just saying renewable energy like solar, wind, tidal.
solar is the only thing.
Jesus Christ, dude. Is it possible you could be quiet and listen?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Yeah, those were examples of renewable energies that I think that we should specifically try to shift to in the long run in order to be able to get away from, fossil fuels, fracking, and the such, because I think that those are harmful for the environment.
I got you. I'm sorry. I'll be a little bit tamer. But okay, solar, yes. I do believe in solar. It's not where it should be. Wind is a fucking horrible. It's horrible for the environment. It doesn't even create that much energy. Wind is horrible. Wind farms, shit like that. It really does. It's bad for the environment. It is. It just is. Solar, I can go for solar. Electric just uses coal to burn to make electric. You're doing the same thing with fossil fuels.
Hold up, I'm gonna cut you off. I'm not even paying attention right now. I really apologize. Rob, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's so horrible. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for your loss. That is incredibly. Oh my god, dude. For anyone who wants to just know it, just go onto YouTube. Yeah. Michael, if anything, yeah, just so sorry. That's so horrible. Michael, I actually don't know who to pick now. I'd probably have to do another thing to set up if they don't have a Cash App or if they don't have a way to send. But yeah, shit, Rob, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry for your loss. All right, you can continue.
Oh, was I muted?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, damn, I was sitting there saying, I don't know what happened. Like, who's hurt? What's going on? Sounds like something's wrong.
Yeah.
What happened?
We lost a supporter to self-unaliving.
What is that? Cell phone unaliving? Like, on the phone?
They unalived themselves.
Yeah, that really sucks.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Really sucks. Yeah, that sucks. Nobody should. Yeah, that's horrible.
Yo, Lucky, thank you for the $100. Thank you so much for this. Is a memoriam for Rob Bart's son. Seriously, rest in peace. Rest in peace. I'm so sorry. Like that's actually really, that really gets me though. That really gets me.
No, I understand. I'm not in the, when something like that happens, I'm not in the mood I am now. So I'm gonna let you go and let somebody else come up.
All right, for sure, man. All right, let's go on to the next person. Everyone, only send a guest request if you do support Donald Trump. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Am I mute?
Yeah, how old are you?
19.
Do you support Trump?
Yeah. I can just tell you why I voted for him.
What's your birth year?
My birth year?
Mm-hmm.
2006, April 27.
You said what year?
2006.
Okay. All right. So why do you support Donald Trump? And then Mara, thank you for the $20. I would. Thank you so much, Mara. I really appreciate it. And Elizabeth, thank you so much for the $20 for in honor of Rob's son. Thank you so much.
Well, the reason why I voted for him because he stands for what he believes in, and he doesn't support abortion, and that's like one of the main things because I'm Catholic, and like we really believe that that's a murder, and that we should protect them, and he also heavily doesn't believe in pride or like support Pride Month, and in the Bible it tells us that pride leads us away from Jesus I think Proverbs 16:8 it says something about that. And
Is
then
Proverbs Old or New Testament?
is what?
Is Proverbs Old or New Testament?
Is Proverbs old or new?
Hmm.
Old,
Do you
I
accept the
think.
Old Testament? It is the Old
Yeah,
Testament. Okay, so do you accept
I
Leviticus
think.
25:44 through 46 when God says you can own people as slaves and pass them down to your children as inherited property for life? Or explicitly in Exodus 21:20 through 21 where God says you can beat people who are enslaved, right? Insofar as they recover after a day or two because they are your property. Or in
Do
Numbers
I su-
31:17, we can see where God commands people to kill the fathers and the mothers and to take the virgin girls for yourself.
um well, I kind of just started like being Catholic. I mean, I was going through a dark path and I just started following Jesus. So, I don't really know a ton about all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
So you don't have response?
So, I don't really know any about that. I don't know if that's true or not. But
What do you not
I also like,
what do you not know? You don't know if those verses exist. Those verses clearly exist. Also, by the way, like that verse you're referencing in Proverbs is not referencing pride, right? In the way that we reference it today, it's not referencing pride. Isn't pride in
I'm pretty
a?
sure it says pride goes before destruction.
I understand.
Something like
I
that.
understand. When we say pride, right? That is, it's not in a literal sense. It's pride. Pride means being loving and accepting towards people who are gay, right? It's about that. That's what pride is about. It's not necessarily like that type of, you don't have to, if you're being involved in pride, have to say that. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with having pride, right? In a literal sense. I'm just saying you don't have to hold to a literal sense of pride. And that's not a fundamental tenet of pride insofar as that, like, someone, if they don't believe in it, right, that within that respect, that they wouldn't meet the set of conditions, right? As long as they're loving and accepting of gay people, they don't agree with bigotry against gay people, things like that.
I mean, no, pride is bad because it makes you feel good about doing stuff and it makes you want other people to do bad. And like, that's why when people do good, sometimes you feel like mad that they're doing better than you.
Restate that one more time. Sorry.
Have you never got that feeling when someone's doing better than you or succeeded and you're like mad that that's not you? That's pride.
Um. Okay. Okay. That sounds like jealousy, not pride.
Yeah, the jealousy is part of pride.
Not really. Or
Jealousy a
envy
part
or
of pride?
jealousy in a certain sense. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure jealousy can be connected to pride.
Pretty Princess, thank you so much for the $5 for in memory of Rob's son. I hope you find peace in this hard time. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Emma, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. They said you going on a dark path means that you condone other people's love. Makes no sense. Went to 12 years of Catholic school and Jesus would be a damn.
Well,
As well as
anyways,
Sarah, thank you for the $2.
I also like that Trump has helped the country by lowering taxes, bring back
But
jobs,
before we
and
do, I want you to like justify your position that you think Pride Month is a sin.
I didn't say Pride Month's a sin.
Wasn't that what you were arguing?
No, I just said I don't support like the gays and stuff. I mean, like as a Catholic,
You
I
don't
don't
support
believe.
gay people. What does the Pope say?
I don't know. No, let me get there. As a Catholic, I believe that
Oh,
like
as a Catholic, you don't
people.
listen to the Pope. Okay.
Oh my gosh, that people are made in the image of God, and I believe that everyone deserves love, and everybody is a good person. Even love thy neighbor. I don't support them, but I don't hate them. Love thy enemies.
Yet you're still disagreeing with the Pope, dude.
I mean, I know the Pope said something about that.
Also, under your own perspective, it's not being gay in of itself that's a sin. You consider gay intercourse to be a sin, correct?
Yeah,
So then why are you like saying that you don't support gay people? As if
because
being gay in of
no,
itself is a sin under your worldview.
I'm saying I don't support pride because that leads people away from Jesus.
I don't think even supporting pride does that. I don't think pride
I
is even
mean,
anti-religious.
that's what I was taught.
Like for example, like the church that I went to growing up has a pride flag.
That just doesn't make any sense.
Why not?
I mean, because we're like heavily against that stuff.
No, the church I went to growing up was not against gay people at
Catholic
all.
and Christian.
By the way, I was a Christian growing up. I went to a church that was accepting of gay people, right? Obviously, there are still homophobias that existed, you know, but like that is significantly more accepting of gay people within the area. Is not saying that because you're gay, you're not accepted into the kingdom of God. That's what they said specifically.
Well, yeah, I know everyone deserves love and all that stuff, but I'm just saying, like, I I don't like that stuff.
I know, but like, why? What's the fucking point? Jesus would not argue for you to do that, right? Okay, I also just don't even like how we're framing this from a religious connotation. You know, I'm not religious myself, you know, and the fact that you want to force your religion on other people, I think is a very fucking weird thing, to be honest. And then the fact that you like judge everyone for your religion in that sort of sense, I think is incredibly weird too. You're judging
People
people.
judge people all the
I
time.
understand, but you're judging people based upon certain things like engaging in gay intercourse is a sin, based upon a book that's from multiple thousands of years ago that has no historical basis to then put it onto other people. If you want to apply it to your own life, you know, fucking do you, okay? But to apply it to other people, right? Especially when you don't have basis to justify it, that's another problem in of itself. And if you believe in separation of church and state, you shouldn't be believing in enforcing your religion into the context of the law, let alone the fact that the Pope calls you, right, to support gay people. Evelyn, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I know, it's literally crazy. Jacob, thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate it. Rest in peace, Robson, for the 15. Thank you so much for the 15 Australian. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, maybe deserving of their love, but they don't. He doesn't want us to like
And Cody, thank you
contribute
for the
to them.
$5. Happy Pride Month. Go ahead, you were saying?
Honestly, I don't even remember. He wants us. He thinks that they should get like love like everybody else, and not treated unfairly because that stuff. But he doesn't want us to act with them. I'm just saying I just like don't really do anything with them. Like I just like let them be. I just don't like support them. That's it. Pretty much.
Kalisa, thank you so much. By the way, and yes, I definitely would disagree with that. Any violation of due process, I'm heavily against. Absolutely. Mary, thank you for the $20 for Rob's son. Mental health is so important. I can't imagine the pain. Very true. Very true. Thank you so much, Mary. Robson Hart. That's what they said, by the way. Robson Hart. Aaron, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. The FICA is Social Security and Medicare. He's saying federal income tax, not FICA. Oh, it was about the last guest. Claire, thank you for the $5 for Happy Pride. Thank you so much. David, thank you for the $5. Thank you.
Hey, you know it's
As well as
Men's Mental
Veronica,
Health
thank you for the
Awareness
$20. Thank you
Month
so much,
too.
Veronica. Sorry, restate what you were saying?
It's also Men's Mental Health Month too.
True.
I
Evelyn,
feel
thank you
like
for the
they
$5.
really.
Thank you.
I was more mad that they really did put Pride Month instead of mental health because I feel like that's way more important.
What?
Half a million men die a year to mental health.
Yeah, why can't you say that you care about both?
Well, I just hate that they covered over it.
No one's covering over it.
I mean, well, they really do pride more than mental health. I mean, I see it so much more.
Well, that's because men need to go out there and do that too. Right? Men don't feel like they can for some reason, and that's something that I want to create a more noticeable and normalized culture about is that men can, express their emotions in positive manners. There are positive ways to express your emotions, and men have oftentimes an extraordinarily hard time doing that, and that's something I've struggled with throughout my life, being able to express my emotions. And it is an incredibly freeing feeling to be able to express your emotions and to be able to get support for that, because everyone needs support. And the idea that you as a man don't need support is an age-old idea that just harms men and leads to them literally unaliving themselves, which is horrible. And we don't want that to happen.
Yeah. All right, back to Trump. I also like how the
Miss Sinister,
border.
thank you for the $5 again. Thank you. And then also thank you, by the way, Kyle, I appreciate the $7. Thank you so much. Thank you. Go ahead.
How he also works hard to try to protect the border, and he catches and releases him by catching him and deporting him back to Mexico.
Okay, so I have a question. Why do you want to deport undocumented immigrants who have not committed violent crimes or bad crimes?
Well, what about the people that have?
I'm okay with deporting them on the condition that they're going to be put into prison in another country.
Yeah, so how do we know that they're not, though? Like,
Jason, thank
they
you $2.
ruined it for all of us. They ruined it for all of them, not all of us,
Who?
all of them.
Who's
the
they?
ones that do bad.
No, they haven't. Undocumented immigrants are multiple times less likely to commit violent crime, drug crime, and property crime in the United States. Due process
What
is
about
how
the
we
ones
identify.
that smuggle all like cocaine and all that
You can't
stuff
say
in
that
the
on the
United
live,
States?
so I have to kick you off, very unfortunately. FOT, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Absolutely. All right, let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you do support Donald Trump. We are just looking for some debates. Calista, thank you so much for the subscription. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Oh, I'm 22.
Do you support Trump?
I do, yeah.
Is there a way you could fix your mic? It's very, very hard to hear you. Awesome. Thank you for the $1. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And Brandon, thank you for the $5. Thank you. What'd you say?
Probably not, so you could just go to the next one. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's like actually impossible to tell what you're saying. I did kind of make out what you were saying there. I think they said go on to the next person or something. But yeah, that would have been really hard to hear. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
41.
Do you support Trump?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. What's your birth year?
83.
Okay. So why do you support Trump?
First, let me ask you, why did you go so easy on that last guy?
Why did I go so easy on the last guy? What do you mean?
It sounded like you were not as harsh as you are with other people.
Just trying to be nice and typical.
Okay. Did you say, why did I support Trump? Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
So the first time was just like something different. Hillary was kind of unlikable. There was like her turn kind of vibe. Just see what happens. And then I think his term got really stymied by COVID, but I still liked some of the smaller things he was able to do before COVID, like foreign policy kind of stuff.
So if he goes into a war with Iran, would you still support him?
Yes, I think so.
Why?
So I'm not an anti-interventionist. I'm okay with war. I was in the military. So I know like Iraq was this whole like it was a lie to get into it and stuff like that. But I still kind of support going in to remove bad leaders, dictators, I guess.
What was the lie they used?
Oh, WMD.
Weapons of mass destruction. I'm confused. What are they doing now? What was their justification now?
That they were enriching uranium.
Weapons of mass destruction?
To make weapons of mass destruction. That they were close, yeah.
Okay. So
You're confused about that?
No. Like the point I'm just saying is it's the same justification. And do you believe it this time?
I believe the 60%.
What do you mean?
They said they had enriched it to 60%.
That's nowhere near nuclear weapons.
Yeah. So I don't think there needs to be nuclear weapons to invade.
Okay, so it's not about nukes. So then what is it about?
Israel.
What about Israel?
Iran's hostility towards Israel.
Watch this.
I think
Do you support limiting funding for Ukraine?
no.
So you think we should have continued funding to defend Ukraine?
Yes.
Okay. So then you must disagree with Donald Trump's foreign policy because he literally gave more power to Putin and he got rid of our ability to defend Ukraine.
I do disagree with what he's done with Ukraine.
Yeah, so wouldn't that be a huge reason to disagree with him?
Huge, not
that's
really.
like isn't Russia one of our biggest enemies?
They have been.
Okay. Do
But,
we
I mean,
do we have
Donald Trump is-
do we have an agreement with Ukraine to defend them, given that they are invaded?
I think we do, yeah.
Yeah. Do we have any of that with Israel when it comes to this conflict that they've started?
Do we have a formal agreement with Israel? I don't know.
To defend them, given that they've been invaded? Wait, they weren't even invaded. They were the ones who caused it. So what the hell are we doing here? Why are we supporting an offensive war on Israel's behalf, right? That Israel started, but we're not defending Ukraine from being taken over by Russia.
So Israel doesn't need us to defend them, so we don't need to have that agreement.
Oh, okay. So then, if they don't need us to defend them, why are we involved?
Are we involved? How are we involved?
Well, Trump's thinking about getting involved. Trump.
Oh, he's
Trump,
thinking about it. So they're not involved, is what you're saying.
Well, technically, I think he already did involve himself because he said that the U.S. specifically had control over the airspace in Iran. I think he's technically already involved.
That's no, I don't agree with that.
Really, the U.S. having control over the airspace within Iran, that isn't going to war with them?
The U.S. does not have control of the airspace over Iraq.
Really, isn't that what Donald Trump tweeted out?
Yeah.
So he lied.
Yes, he lied.
Why would he do that if Iran knows that's false?
It's like boisterous talk.
Come on. Come on. That, you know that's ridiculous.
Do you think Trump really thought we had control of the airspace over Iran?
If he tweeted that, probably. I genuinely think that Donald Trump's a pathological liar, but I don't know why he would say this. I can lie about that. Because that would that would make him look really weak on the world stage.
Do you think so? I don't think so.
I do.
That,
If he says
like
the U.S. has
somebody-
control and they don't have control at all, that
I
looks
think
like
Israel
he's weak.
has control.
No, he said the U.S.
I think he said we. He didn't say the U.S.
He said we, and then said no one does it better than the good old USA.
But he was also talking about American-made arms that we give to Israel.
No, he didn't specifically say the things that we gave. He said we.
Hold on. But he
Yeah.
said American-made arms, right? And are you saying what? Israel stole them?
I gotta go and find it. Do you want me to go find the tweet?
Yeah, sure.
It's gonna take me a minute. Bro, why does it say no truths? Okay, I don't care. He said it. You know what he said.
So what's your source? What's your source? Trust me, bro. No, I'm just kidding. So I know he said it, but I also think he said it.
I've literally shown it on live before. I just want to let you know.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I remember the tweet said like American-made weapons.
Oh my God, he's gonna make me look it up. I hate this guy. I got you. Images.
Do you want to talk about something else then?
There we go. We now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran. Iran had good sky trackers and other defensive equipment, and plenty of it, but it doesn't compare to American-made, conceived, and manufactured stuff. Nobody does it better than the good old USA.
Yep, so American stuff, and nobody manufactures stuff better than the good old US of A.
That's US being involved. Annie, thank you so
Well,
much for the $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Maybe you did. Thank you so much.
The US being involved by manufacturing weapons and equipment does not make the US involved.
Was the US involved in the Russia-Ukraine war?
Ooh. Say no.
Dude, come on. Dude, we obviously know that the US was involved in that. Come on, dude. By
Well, hold on.
proxy. You don't,
So the whole
you
point
don't
of
think
being
you're
by
involved
proxy-
if it's by proxy? That's like saying
the
that's
point
like
of being by
that's like saying
proxy is you're not
wait, hold on,
involved.
hold on. I just want to clarify. That's like saying Palpatine wasn't involved in the Clone Wars.
I don't watch Star Trek.
Star Trek?
No, I'm just fucking around.
Oh, dude, fuck this, bro. I'm so no way, dude.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
Dude, I can't
but I
believe
mean-
you just said that.
The point of proxy wars is to not be involved. So in that case, what you're saying is we're already at war with Iran because they have proxies. They support some kind of rebels that we fight.
You know, the same thing was true about Israel.
What, they support rebels that we fight?
Yeah, they've supported well, not just rebels. We're not the fucking. I mean, you don't want to be the empire, right? Right? Like you. I mean, are you? Do you think rebels are bad or something? Like I don't know why you'd say that. Like are you saying that like they've supported terroristic organizations, right? Because those terroristic organizations have also been supported by the state of Israel as a response to the PLO.
Okay.
Okay, again, like why the fuck are we defending Israel's offensive wars? Like, why are we involving ourselves offensively in their conflict? Like, I think that's horrible. You know, if we're gonna involve ourselves in any conflict, it would have made sense to involve ourselves within Russia, Ukraine, which is not what Donald Trump's doing.
So I agree with you on both the Israel and the Russia-Ukraine.
Okay.
So when I'm talking about
Wait,
the foreign stuff,
if you agree with me on both, then why'd you vote for Donald Trump?
so I think I told you like the first time it was just something different, and second time, one, it was stymied by COVID, and two, the foreign policy stuff that I liked was like the USMCA, and it was more the way he
Oh God,
treated
dude.
our friends and less the way he treated our enemies. Like,
Okay.
pushing them to get tough. I also
Okay.
liked him getting out of the Iran deal.
Okay, I just want to let you know he went back on the USMCA because he imposed
went
tariffs
back.
on Canada and Mexico.
Ugh.
Yeah, so he went back on the USMCA. I actually don't disagree with you. I actually think USMCA was not bad. Like that's actually like one of the things where I was like, yeah, it's not even that bad. It's actually pretty decent. But like when it comes to the deal, I mean, he went against it.
He did, yeah. So the tariffs are a little bit silly. I think it's a negotiating tactic. That's why he goes back on the tariffs too.
If it's a negotiation tactic, why is he renegotiating the USMCA if it's so good?
I didn't know that he was renegotiating the
Understand.
USMCA.
That's okay. Well, I mean, that would be the logical entailment of your position that if he's imposing tariffs as a renegotiation and he had a trade agreement already with Canada and Mexico, if he's imposing tariffs on them, that would be to renegotiate the deal that he already established, the USMCA.
I think for U.S. or Mexico, or yeah, Canada and Mexico, I think maybe someone like Peter Navarro convinced him that trade deficits are a bad thing all the time,
Jeez,
and
dude.
he just kind of run with that.
Yeah,
But
no,
I
he
think
doesn't.
the
I
tariff,
don't even think he knows what a trade deficit is.
probably not, but uh, yeah, the tariff I think is more for people that are not Mexico and Canada, and it kind of just applied to Mexico and Canada, maybe because he thought he could
Didn't
get
he
some
do
more out of them.
that? Didn't he do that like first? He could get some more out of them. I thought
Yeah.
he already had enough with the USMCA. And like again, when he's doing this with our allies, he's destroying relations with our allies. He's not making our relations better. He talked about annexing Panama, Greenland, Canada. He wanted to go and take over Gaza, right? After ethnically cleansing the Palestinian population with no right to return.
Okay, so I think the annexations of Canada and Greenland, I think it's a joke. I think that's like a giant troll still. Uh,
Why would you do that as president? That's fucking unhinged. Don't you agree that's unhinged to do as president? Like joking about fucking annexing your allies?
I think he has changed the idea of what is normal for a president, and I think that's
In a
part of
bad
the.
way. In a bad way, not in
Well,
a good way.
it's subjective, but
Well, what's your subjective opinion? I would hope it's in a bad way.
okay, yeah, it's in a bad way, but uh, but as far as the relations with our allies, I don't necessarily think that's bad.
Okay, how so?
I think he's kind of pushing them to do more, to
And
stop relying on us so much.
in what way?
Oh, so like the JCPOA, the U.S. played a huge part of that. We didn't get rid of the deal; we just pulled out of it, and the other countries didn't want to step up, so that's why it's effectively dead. I think it's still in effect till October this year or something.
I'm actually not as familiar. What is that?
The Iran deal.
Oh, yo, is that the specific name for the nuclear deal?
Yeah.
It's a good thing he pulled out of the nuclear peace agreement. That's what you're saying?
Hold on. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm saying that when we pulled out, our allies had the chance to keep it afloat, and they didn't. And that's kind of what he's doing with other stuff with our allies, with like NATO and so on.
Here, you're like, dude, you know what? Trump should have not shown up for it, but our allies should have. Dude, do you see the hypocrisy there?
No, I think we've been showing up for it for so long, and like proportionally, like a lot more than everybody else. Like, why do we have to support these guys like more than other countries combined?
That was the U.S. deciding to spend that much on the military. Not all of what we spend is on NATO. I don't know what you're talking about. And also, NATO's mainly hit its 2%, and that was like heavily done under Biden.
I don't believe you about it being heavily done under Biden.
Okay, well, you can live in another reality if you'd like.
Okay, but I mean, still, is I don't know. Do we pay 2%?
We pay well over. We pay 3.5.
Yeah. Okay.
We spend way too much.
So he wants the other countries to
Caitlin,
spend
thank
more.
you for the 5 Canadian. Thank you. They said, I don't think MAGA realized how seriously Canadians took the annex threats. There was a huge boycott, and even cons here hate the United States. And they said, as a U.S.
Okay,
citizen
so
in Canada.
He might have taken it a little too far. But I think that's what happens when you troll. Like you get a reaction and then you just keep going.
And you think that's acceptable to do as president? Like, genuinely, like, can you imagine if this happened with any other fucking president, what the media would look like? And it wasn't just like
So no.
one of the things that they did. If any of the presidents did this, can you imagine Joe Biden did this? Can you imagine Barack Obama did this? Can you imagine even fucking Bush did this?
So I think we do that like internally, like our politicians do that to other politicians in the U.S. I don't think any of the other presidents would have done it, but again, this is
Yeah, they
talking
wouldn't
about
have done
Trump
this.
being so-
Whoa.
This is Trump.
Wait, they wouldn't have done this. Maybe that's a fucking
Correct.
point in of itself. You know, maybe it's not presidential to threaten to annex your neighboring country who's your ally.
So I've said this before, but Trump is something different. And that's why I went with him the first time. And just because it's something that we would consider unpresidential because no other president has done it or would do it, doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
So you don't think it's a bad thing to threaten to annex your neighboring country, which is an ally of yourself, that destroys the relationship that you have?
I don't think it's a bad thing to do something that another president wouldn't do.
It's not.
Whether
It's
the
not just another
specifics-
president wouldn't do. It's that on top of the horrible nature of it. It's that this is a difference in norms of what we've seen practically ever. It's incredibly unpresidential. It's
So I
not
think we need to
professional at all.
redefine what presidential means.
Yeah, wait, yeah.
But
Yes, presidential definitely would include not threatening to fucking annex your allied countries. Yeah, that would be a pretty important aspect of being a president of the United States. Wouldn't you assume being president of the United States would also include, like, you know, things, basic things that, you know, maintain our allyships with countries in which it makes sense to?
Sure. I think we're still allies with Canada, though. And if the president does it, I mean, isn't it presidential now?
Say that one more time?
If the president does it, then isn't it by definition presidential?
You
Like
know,
how many presidents?
I have a
how many
que-
presidents have to do it?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do you think there's anything a president could do that's not presidential?
Ooh, I would say in his personal life, yes, but like as an
Okay,
official
okay.
act of the president,
As an official,
no.
so if as an official act of the presidency, Donald Trump shot someone on Fifth Avenue, would that be presidential?
Come on. So according to the Supreme Court, yes. But that is not something that would ever happen. That's just like a ridiculous hypothetical.
Can I have an answer to the question?
I think I did answer the question.
You know, it would also be a ridiculous hypothetical if I would have brought up to a Trump supporter in fucking 2016 that he was going to threaten to annex our neighboring countries. He was going to call for, you know, literally war in Iran based upon weapons of mass destruction. That he wasn't going to drain the swamp. That he was going to call for the termination of the Constitution. They would think that's a wild hypothetical that will never happen. And you want to know something fucking insane? That's the fucking timeline that we live in. That is the timeline that we live in. A Republican voting for Donald Trump in 2016 would not have believed that would ever happen. Ever.
And you said that? You said
They
that
would
in
have said
2016?
no shot in the world, no chance, no possible nature of reality in which that happens because, you know, there's checks and balances and, you know, they can't go after the checks and balances. You know what I mean? Like the checks and balances, they keep everything real safe, real secure until they are violating due process rights, not listening to Supreme Court orders because the Supreme Court doesn't have an enforcement mechanism. So when he reduces the size, right, of the judicial,
And
right,
second,
that is
did you say that in
explicitly to make
2016?
him more powerful in the context of the executive. You were saying?
Shit. I cut out like a little bit. I heard Supreme Court's orders, and then make it more powerful.
You know what? Is there anything else you'd like to talk about or add?
Wait. Um, I thought Biden did a good job with the domestic stuff, but foreign policy was nothing. So it's kind of another
Joe Biden would be better
instance
than
of
Joe Biden would be better than Donald Trump here when it comes to this. Even though I think that Joe Biden's foreign policy, within plenty of circumstances, is disastrous. Like, I'm not going to disagree. I definitely have huge disagreements with Democrats' foreign policy, but like, I mean, when it comes to Donald Trump, like his foreign policy is atrocious. It's atrocious.
so Biden's domestic performance was good enough for me to have voted it for him in 2020. But when he dropped out and they picked Kamala, it was just 2016 all over again.
I'm sorry, you're fucking crazy. You would vote for Joe Biden, but you wouldn't vote for either Hillary or Harris?
Yep.
That gives, like, I'm going to be totally honest with you. To me, that really gives misogyny. So could you clear that up? Because to me, that makes no fucking sense. I mean, Joe Biden was cognitively declined. Everyone can see it, right? Everyone acknowledges this. I called for him to step down before he did, right? And I will acknowledge those types of things. The fact that you're sitting up here and arguing that Joe Biden is a more qualified candidate than literally, in the state he is right now, than literally Kamala Harris is like the most insane fucking take ever.
Yeah, you're right. I kind of said that off the cuff, and with the cognitive decline, it was true. And I was a little disappointed that he said he was going to be a transitional president, and he didn't. But I thought he was doing a good job.
That actually really pissed me off too. I'm not gonna lie. Biden's always been like he's better than Trump, but it's not like, I'm really happy with Biden, And even in the 2020 primaries, even back then, before I've even changed in terms of my ideological beliefs and become more understanding in terms of my liberal views, right? Even then, like, I was still against Joe Biden, and I still thought he was like fucking too moderate, right? Even then, do me think.
Yeah, but the fact that
Canadian, thank you so much.
Republicans actually had a primary, and the Democrats didn't.
I'm sorry. Do you think that the vice president wouldn't step up if the president steps down?
Yes, I think she would have.
That's exactly what happened. Joe Biden stepped down, and meaning if Joe Biden were to have been assassinated, there would not have been a primary, and she would have stepped up. Right?
Yeah,
so no matter the process in which Joe Biden steps down, after the point in which he's been nominated, the person who would step up is the vice president, especially that close to the election. You have to understand that's how it would work if it were the Republicans as well. Push the hand out.
So I don't think it was, because they didn't elect Mike Pence after Trump lost. They didn't.
Wait, because Trump didn't drop out.
Yeah, so they didn't elect Biden after Obama.
Because Obama didn't drop out.
Yeah, but his second term, so the most qualified person would have been Joe Biden, right?
No.
Being the vice president?
I still think Barack Obama is more qualified than Joe Biden.
So yeah, he was more qualified, but after his second term, he couldn't run again. So the second most qualified person would have been Joe Biden.
Oh, that was Joe Biden's decision not to run in 2016.
Are you sure he didn't run in 2016?
Yeah, that his choice was not to run in 2016 because of what happened with his son.
Okay. Little bit of a tangent, but I hope I'm not misogynistic.
No, it's just like I just genuinely don't understand how you could say that you wouldn't support Hillary Clinton or Kamala Harris over Donald Trump, but you would support Joe Biden over Donald Trump. Like, that's just like genuinely, like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, so I can't
even fathom a genuine reason for that.
If it was like an election between them and they had both run, then I would have supported Kamala.
With Kamala versus Trump?
Yeah.
So,
if she had made her positions known But I think they did some interviews with her, and she had this thing where she couldn't really step away from Biden's policy, especially his foreign policy.
Wait, she
Or she
did
was
she
active.
did make her positions known. So you're saying with the level of information that you have right now, if you could go back in time, you wouldn't vote for Donald Trump, you'd vote for Harris.
No, I don't think I'm saying that because I still don't really know her positions. It
What
sounded
the
like
fuck is this guy saying? Okay, what positions are
she
you
would have
not
done
clear on?
she would have done the same stuff as Biden.
She was advocating for a $6,000 child tax credit for the first year of a child's life, $3,600 through them being 5 years old, $3,000 through them being 18. There's a $2,000 cap on pharmaceuticals out of pocket, $35 cap on insulin for everyone, not just for people who are on Medicare. There was the limiting of medical debt on your credit so that it doesn't affect your credit. There was plenty
Yeah,
of
so
things.
Biden's good domestic policies,
Wait,
but
no,
the same.
I was giving examples of things that Harris was advocating for.
Yeah. So the good domestic
Like, wait,
policies.
are you
just like
telling
Biden.
me? Are you telling me you never looked up KamalaHarris.com?
I have.
Then you would have seen all of the policies.
I mean, so this was like 4 years ago when I looked it up, right? But
It didn't exist 4 years ago.
oh, yeah, it was. I guess like 6 months ago then. But I don't really remember them. But yeah, I don't remember any of her forward policies. I remember that she went on an interview and she felt like she couldn't separate herself from Biden's positions.
I understand, but you voted for Joe Biden, so I'm confused how that specifically is going to be bad for you.
So I voted. What do you mean I voted for Joe Biden? I mean I would have voted for Joe Biden.
So you didn't vote.
No, I did. I voted for Trump.
No, did you vote for Joe Biden
No.
in 2020?
Okay, 2020 I did.
God, dude. What do you mean I voted Joe Biden? Dude, come on, bro.
Okay, was that a question? Yeah, I mean, like I said, I thought Biden was okay. Like he did what we needed after COVID. Good domestically, but I saw his foreign policy in action. Wasn't great. Went with a candidate.
Okay, everyone, I'm gonna go join Dean. Jesus. Oh my gosh. That was brutal. That was brutal. Hey everyone on TikTok, I would really appreciate if you go join me on YouTube. I'd seriously really appreciate it. There's like 3,600 people here. You're probably people that like me, you know, more likely, you know, you should come over to the YouTube. I'd really appreciate that. There's like 1,700 people there. Everyone's gonna join Dean. It's just gonna be me on YouTube for the next literally 45 minutes. Okay, everyone. I'm only on live for 45 more minutes, so just 45 more minutes. Join my YouTube, everyone, and like the stream on YouTube. I would really appreciate it. Make sure to follow me here on TikTok if you haven't already. We need like 30 more people to follow to hit 1,000 new followers for today on the stream, so I'd really appreciate that. I love everyone so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Seriously, so much. Make sure to go over to my YouTube, Parker Get a Job on YouTube, and we'll be joining Dean right now. All right, I love y'all so much.